Hello YouTube, hello Facebook, hello the world overall. My name is Morgan James Does Games, and this is going to be a very important video. So, I was browsing the CNN News app, like I always do, as I am wont, and the first thing I see across the splash page is Donald Trump rallies are becoming hostile. I'm paraphrasing, but the title isn't important. The content is. That's some good shit right there. We have 4 estates. The estate of the President of the United States, the estate of the Judiciary branch, the estate of the Senate and Congress, and the 4th estate, which is the most important one of all, the estate of the free press. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this out there. The first one, obviously, and this is gonna seem a little backwards here, but the first estate is the top level is Congress and the House of Republic. The House of Representatives. So these guys make the laws. They get together, they write them, they vote on which one goes first, and then it goes to the president. Now the president has the power to veto said laws and turn them back, and so they can rework them. So after the president approves them, it then goes down to the judiciary system, and the judiciary passes the laws on down to the 4th estate. The 4th estate then reports the progress or the approval of said laws and what they're liable to mean down to the people. Now, without the 4th estate, because despite that whole tower, because it really is a tower, without that 4th estate, that 4th pillar of communication between the president, the Congress, and that, the whole entire thing falls apart. Now, here's where it gets weird. While I was reading the CNN News app, because, I get my news from CNN, sometimes Fox News, sometimes MSNBC, sometimes BBC News, all over the place. Without that 4th estate, the whole entire process is moot. Yeah, and yes, I get it. Trump is whipping up a anti-media frenzy. He's, whipping up a froth within you guys. But at the same time, that froth does not mean becoming more and more hostile to reporters simply doing their job. Outside of reporting, they're Americans, just like you. Well, let's cut through the bullshit right now. You're angry because of people just doing their jobs, trying to get to the bottom of why a foreign power hacked our elections, trying to put all the pieces together. And unfortunately, very unfortunately for you guys, that means that the biggest centerpiece of all those other pieces is the guy you elected. Now, I can understand why you're angry. Trust me, I can. I had this one guy way the hell back when, just constantly writing shit about me all the time. It was the weirdest thing in the world. But at the same time, even though I was angry about it, even though I was reacting, even though I was replying in kind and saying all these things, I respected the, right to him to, have a say. I mean, what am I going to do? Write in all caps and hope that scares him? Like, this is the internet, please. But what I'm asking you to do right now, since, this is important. I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't think this shit was important, and I'm normally scatterbrained as all fuck. So what would normally be, shock and spread of like topics and words and jokes and all that, is focused on this one thing, and this one thing alone. You need to calm down. You need to drop this anger, this hatred, this roiling feeling within you that decrees in your mind that eventually you're going to get so angry that you need to punch someone that works for whoever it is that Trump declares as fake news, as the enemy. There is no enemy. They are simply doing their jobs. And the main story above all these other little distractions that people seem to be, constantly focusing on is Russia attacked the United States of America in order to influence the 2016 elections, which was successful. And now we have a Manchurian candidate in office right now doing everything he can to discredit the media, who, by the way, are protected by the freedom of speech, the right to free press. As a blogger myself, as a writer, as an author, as a creative type, it hurts to see this go on. I mean, we're at an impasse right now. We are at a boiling point. This is beyond boiling. This is reaching flashpoint levels of anger. And all it takes is just one person, just one single person, and someone's either going to say something, react to something, or do something that's going to set off that whole entire tinderbox. And then at every single Trump rally, that fire is just going to spread more and more and more until, the only way reporters are going to be able to do their job is by drone. Or even by, satellite feed. I don't care if your preferential material is, the trash rags that they sell at the grocery store. I don't care if it's a conspiracy theorist. I don't even care if it's some weird-ass racist propaganda bullshit that You've been feeding your kids so that way they grow up to be just like dear old racist grandpa. Actually, I do care about that last one. Don't ever just ignore that. Just don't be racist. Just don't. It's not right. Even though I'm protesting that, I recognize the right to free speech, the right to have one's opinion, the right to have one's say on any given matter. And that's what CNN, Fox News, NBC, ABC, CBS, BBC, any news outlet at all, either granted the ability to be critical of the leader of their country or state-run, as in a dictatorship. They need to be able to feel safe in order for them to do their jobs. They need to, they need y'all to just calm the shit down, because this is bullshit, and this hurts. We've got a guy in office who's essentially breaking democracy, who has no idea of what he's doing, who, when this is all over, unfortunately, it's going to be a bad time for Trump supporters. But I'm not here. I'm not making this video to hammer on the president. I can do that in blog posts. I can do that in other videos. This video is directed solely at you guys, at Trump supporters. And I'm not talking as a Democrat. I'm not talking as a liberal. I'm not talking as a snowflake. I'm talking man to group. This video isn't going to be sped up. There's no music added. There's no funny little bits here and there. The fourth estate is vital to our country. It's kind of the neurological impulse from the cortex to the brainstem to the spine, which it's the central nervous system of our democracy. It's how we get our information. It's how we know how to react. And this attack on free speech is exactly that. Further influence by a foreign power, or maybe not further influence by a foreign power, but it's the fallout from that further influence. Because yes, while John Trump was elected president of these United States of America in 2016 by the majority vote, he was elected by an angry, tired, exhausted, quite frankly, ignored and forgotten people. People who are, in one aspect, who have shed blood, sweat, and tears for this country. Yes, your views might not be what the rest of us would consider, acceptable or normal or nice. But at the same time, despite all of those opinions, y'all are still Americans. And the sooner you realize that Trump's just trolling you, that he views his support base as, I view this plant, or the head of lettuce. It's cute, it's adorable, and for a while I'm going to enjoy watching it grow. But I know that as soon as it's big enough, I'm just going to consume the damn thing. Now, eventually, and I'm going to repeat this, I've said this before and I'm saying it again. The collective psyche of the American people has been wound so tight that it's just it snapped. And the force of that breaking is still being felt as the spring tries to release all its tension. And this right here, this is the worst of it. Actually, no. There's a ways to go. Because we're still reeling from the election. Yes, in our own circles, some people are still talking about it. Because we're in shock. We're stressed. We're trying to figure all this out. And it doesn't help when a small but vocal group gets to the point where they are assaulting the press. And that's where it's going to go next. Trump supporters are slowly becoming a disorganized militia. And the sooner you hear me out on this, the better. Trump supporters, let me repeat that, are being riled up, are being frothed up, are being, energized, are being, motivated. Wrongly motivated, but still motivated. And the more hardcore of them, are forming into a militia. And eventually, that militia, with no leadership, no guidance, no motivation whatsoever, is going to lash out at the free press. And the free press they've been watching this thing grow time and time again. They've been saying it over and over and over and over and over, and yet no one's doing much about it. Because none of the Trump supporters are listening. We need to do something. A quick sidebar here. When I joined the Navy back in October, November, something like that. I took an oath. We all did. To honor and respect the President of the United States, and to follow the orders cast down by him. And had I graduated from, Great Lakes, I would have done that. Yes, I still would have had my reservations, but I would have followed the orders of the President of the United States to the T. But I didn't, and here I am. I'm wearing this hat in the video because this is the very first time I've actually put this on my head. Because normally you'd see me in the America's Navy hat, and that's the first one you get when you get to the maps. The second one is the recruit hat, and that comes along in a blue backpack. The third hat you get is this one. It's the hat that you're allowed to put on when you've graduated from Great Lakes, because you transition from a recruit to a sailor. And I think it's been long enough to where I can feel comfortable wearing this hat. Because I did work my ass off for it. I studied. Yes, I bitched and griped at times, but I studied. I put in the effort. I showed up. And I got in. And then I was out. And while I was in there, it got me to thinking. Yes, this is related. It got me to thinking that about my core values, my beliefs, what I needed to focus on, what my goals were. And my goals was always to be a writer, always to be an author. That's who I am. That's my job. That's my passion. That's my direction. That's my directive. That's the core of who I am. And even though I'm critical of the president in my words, there's still a part of me that's like, well, back off. Maybe you shouldn't say this. But normally I ignore the other fuck out of that part and be like, meh, whatever. And that's me expressing my right to free press, my opinion. And yeah, on occasion I do get shit for it. The media, they're all real. They're not doing some Saturday morning, after school kids special. They are doing their jobs. They've worked for that job. They've put in blood, sweat, and tears for that. They've wasted many a night and many hours of time in which they could have been sleeping or partying or, getting their groove on or, eat some dick or, getting laid. I don't know why I had to separate those two, but or spend time with loved ones, or, play with their kids or their cousins, or they're human. They're American. They're American just like you guys. True. They work in the field that you don't agree with. But that doesn't mean that you have to get so riled up that you assault a reporter for just doing his or her job, or their job, or its job. Fuck, we've got so many goddamn genders nowadays. So I'm asking you if you're a Trump supporter, or know someone that's a Trump supporter, or talk to them about why they're angry with the media. Because chances are, the core reason for it, the absolute core reason, is that the media is saying mean things about the president. Well, the media is not there to, coddle someone. They're to hold the leader of the free world accountable for his actions. They're there to report on stories that are happening around the world, some good, some bad. They're there to make sure that the people know what's going on within government, within their community, within the White House, within every sector. And yeah, I could get worked up about this, but I'm not going to. I'm tired of the anger. I'm tired of the stress I feel every time I turn on the news. Because it used to be that sweet, what's going on? I think I'll turn it to Comedy Central, or I think I'll turn it to BBC, or Sci-Fi, or this, or that. But ever since the election, the only thing I've been watching is the news. On occasion, I'll flip it to a movie or something. But then I'll get this anxiety, this feeling like, there are more important things I can be doing with my time than watching this. It's our jobs, one of our inherited responsibilities as Americans, is to protect and uphold the Fourth Estate. True, there's no law that's stating that we have to protect the news, we have to protect this, we have to protect that. But at the same time, it's just a common courtesy. Anyways, I gotta go. So, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you like a beast in the next video. Peace.